Hi, my name is Nadine, and I'm going to interview three of my family members regarding how perception of disability changes once a person with a disability enters a family. Each person is from a different generation and has had different interactions with people with disabilities. Meet Teresa. She grew up with two sisters who were on the autism spectrum and now has a granddaughter, Olivia, who is deaf. And meet Bridget and Ryan. Ryan is Bridget's firstborn son. Her second son, Logan, has AMC, or arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. In these interviews, each person will discuss their perceptions and how those changed once Olivia and Logan entered their lives. What does the word disability mean to you?
Today, it means that I don't fit into someone else's world or life. Um, yeah, that's kind of it. I don't fit.
Okay.
So where someone with a true disability, physical disability, I don't understand it, so I don't fit. I don't necessarily consider them disabled. It's more me.
To you. The word disability means, or basically the definition of it to me is, not able to do something. I think it's has a bigger meaning than that, but it's some sort of challenge or something that eliminates you to be able to do something, sort of every day or in everyday society.
The word disability means to me that maybe a kid was born with maybe an issue or a problem in their life and maybe has a difficult time in their life, or it could be more challenging.
What were your thoughts and opinions of disability or persons with disability originally?
That one's hard. I had hoped to have a little more time to think about that one because I was born into a family that already had a mentally disabled person, but I didn't know it. So to me, every family was like mine. So I didn't think of it as being disabled. Um, and again, the older I got, the more I took on the responsibility of the disability because I couldn't fix it. So my thoughts on disability in general, just that their life is harder maybe than mine.
Originally, when I would see somebody with a disability, I would be sad for them, honestly. Um, I think that life has so many challenges as it is, and then I would see them struggling with extra challenges in their way, and what is life now offering to them, and how are they going to be able to get through the regular challenges of life with maybe extra challenges in their way, and I felt that kind of broke my heart, honestly.
Originally, I didn't actually know what disabilities were. I was probably 5 or 6 when he was born, so I didn't know what it was until I was 7 or 8. So, and I actually understood what it was, so I actually never knew what disability was until he came to the world.
How did those thoughts and opinions change after a person with a disability entered the family?
So in your case, it would be Olivia.
Olivia changed my thoughts and feelings because I totally became disabled. In my brain, I was totally disabled because I would never understand her world, which also changed my perception of disabled because I was the one who was disabled. I couldn't enter my grandchild's world. And then it makes you look at everybody from the disability, if you can use it as a disability, of being black. I don't understand that world. So that to me becomes my disability. Somebody who has only one leg. I can't imagine that. Well, I broke my leg, so I kind of can, but can't. But that's my disability. Again, it's. I guess as a teenager, I was annoyed by my sister's disabilities because it interfered with. That was when I realized our family was different, and it interfered with my social world. But think that was the worst I ever felt about disabilities, because to me, we all have a cross to bear, whether it be a physical disability, a mental disability, deaf, black, white, not deaf, because that to me is my disability. We're all disabled in one way or another.
It made me realize more so that there was just this person in there. Maybe physically his body couldn't do what his mind wanted it to do. But it didn't mean that he didn't have a mind, or it didn't mean that he didn't have a heart, and it didn't mean that he didn't have humor and hopes and dreams like everybody else. So it was just it kind of unfolded, and I didn't feel maybe as so sad. Yes, sad moments, wanting my child to be able to do things that other children his age can't do, but his personality almost grew bigger than the disability, and it took over, and the disability isn't even there in his own mind, and so that is like, well, yeah, that's really what life's about, not getting caught up in other silly things that we get caught up in, and it really just shows it's just about love and happiness and being happy and finding a way to make the physical things that maybe you can't do not overshadow the amazing things you can do by touching people and making people laugh and showing people how you have such a big heart.
They changed because I actually understand what disability mean and what it meant, and it felt I kind of liked having it because then I actually understood what disability was. If I saw somebody with it, I would actually understand what they're going through because I know what my brother's going through, and then and I would feel what they're feeling since I know what my brother's feeling.
What's one way you think we could make a positive change of the perception of disabilities in society?
It's actually, part of it is acceptance. Part of it is mainstreaming, which my parents were dead set against. But when it's right, it's important. It's not right for everybody. But I think mainstreaming with certain disabilities is important. Olivia is mainstreamed. She's included in everything. I still feel disabled with her, but it has to be an individual thing for the most part. I don't know that we can make it better in society. I think society is in such a negative place that so much has to change before we can make it better. It has to come from the individuals. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. Because, yeah, we are in such a negative society and such a electronic society that we're also not paying attention to each other, even when we don't consider the person sitting next to me to have a disability, but I'm not paying attention to them. So if I'm not paying attention to them, how easy is it for me to turn away from somebody who does have a disability and just look into my phone? So I don't know. I don't think there's an answer, because society has to do a major turnaround in so many ways.
I think we've done pretty well. I'm thankful that my son is born now versus years ago. I think education's a big thing. Awareness is a big thing. Acceptance is a big thing. I think, children are more accepting. However, maybe we can bring it into the homes a little bit more. I think children don't really understand it, and so if it's something that's scary to them that they just don't understand, they might be afraid. We've had where, like, we're at a baseball game and the other kids are going, how come Logan isn't running around with us? Or, how come he sits there and just watches his iPad? So I think it's just, and there's no fault. I think it's just talking about it more, maybe introducing, other children to kids with it so they can see, oh, wow, he really is a kid like us. He likes to joke around like we do. He plays like we do. But maybe he just can't physically run around like us, but he wants to sit outside and watch with us. So I think Sort of like what we do with other religions, sort of like, how we'll like teach our kids, like, okay, if you're Catholic, but then there's also Hanukkah, and so there's other religions and other cultures. So why can't it be sort of a way to teach them, well, okay, there's kids that are like this, and then there's kids that are like that. We accept them all. They're just different. There's no right or wrong. But I think bringing it into the home would help maybe not make children scared of it, um, and continue to increase the acceptance of it. I think we're on the right path as a society, and I think we can continue to go further that way.
We can make it better by kids understanding what disability meant, and they could actually talk to people, actually meet them, and get to know who they are, and notice that they're just like you, and they can do everything you can do.
So I know I'm supposed to do a conclusion for this project, but I was left truly speechless. I didn't really know what to go into this with regarding expectations. I kind of assumed that each person's answers would be reflected by the culture of their generation, but that all gets changed once a person with a disability comes into your family and you develop that bond and such a closeness, and you want things to change for the better. And I think Teresa said it very well, that we do live in such a negative society that having that change is so difficult. But like Ryan and Bridget said, it's got to start with the kids and having that acceptance at a young age. And they're the future. They are going to influence each coming generation and make it a more positive and accepting and aware society. Yeah, I could not be happier with each person's answers and each person's awareness and the empathy in Ryan that was already developed at such a young age. And he actually said, I can't imagine a life without Logan. And that really hit me of disability isn't a disability to society. Disability is just another challenge. We all have challenges. We all have our cross to bear. And it's just seeing how you take that and what you make of it.